Let's do it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the Try Hard Entertainment Podcast. So, hopefully, this time I worked on some audio levels and whatnot, so hopefully, it's better this time and louder than what it was last episode.
For those that persevered through the last episode with the audio issues, I appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
It was I had it hooked up to a Bluetooth speaker when I was at home, and everything was on like full volume, and I still had a hard time hearing it. I was just like sitting on my couch, and of course the Bluetooth speaker is kind of like off to the side or whatever of the room, and yeah. I mean, it had to be just dead silent. Nothing else could be going on for me to be able to hear it. But I think headphones worked a little bit better with it being directly into your ear. Made it a little easier.
Oh, yeah, it did. And when I first uploaded the episode to YouTube, for some reason it wouldn't like go higher quality than 360p. And then I checked it like the next day, and it was actually like full, I think either 720 or 1080p quality that you could choose. So I don't know what the deal was with that.
I don't know, man. That's so far outside of anything I know.
The knowledge that expands only but so far.
I know some technology, but I don't really know with this with this stuff, like what we're currently doing, recording and live streaming. It's not my wheelhouse. I'm gonna go ahead and tweet to my 100 followers.
Ooh, 100 followers.
That's right.
Oh, I also put your Twitter link in the YouTube upload, and I believe it was in the Twitch upload as well.
Well, it has not garnered me any more followers. But maybe it will.
It takes time.
Been on it for 8 years.
Well, have you been really doing much to try to actually increase your followers or be active? I mean, I know you're being active now. I mean, good God, I get notifications all the time, like of stuff you post. Like last night, the random stuff. It was just some of the stuff. What?
What, like the Linkin Park stuff, or
no? This was like something else.
Oh.
What was it? Let me.
Well, if you guys haven't checked out my Linkin Park studio album power rankings,
yeah, like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It made like no sense. I was beginning to think like you got hacked. I'm like, what?
Then check it out and let me know what you think. Yeah, look at the way that chick is spelling names.
McCarty.
Yeah, and then I guess also the actual names, like some of them are weird.
Yeah. That's crazy. Oh boy, oh boy.
All right. So I think we had floated discussing some Star Wars stuff. And I think some of that we will, but we're eventually going to get into the I guess the episodes, and then some of the other ones, I guess, like Solo and Rogue One. But we're gonna wait until we can get Joe for that. But John, the Obi-Wan Kenobi news.
Oh yeah, the what was it? Oh, Ewan McGregor. Yeah, I believe. Has he actually been signed on for the project, or is it just in the talks?
From what I've read, just in talks to do a what is it? Just Is it like a series or a movie? It's a series, right?
It was with Disney Plus, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, in some form or fashion, Ewan McGregor is in talks to come back as the character Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Yes, yes.
which he so beautifully played in episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Oh yeah, I loved him as Obi-Wan.
He's good. He's also good in Big Fish.
And
I actually saw that.
I actually, I think I saw that.
John has me on a slope,
No, well,
so I can't. My chair keeps rolling.
I'm start
Oh.
putting like some behind those wheels of that
Yeah,
chair.
I need to chalk these wheels up. So I spent $100 and roughly like $23 on Amazon buying a Audio Technica AT 2020 microphone. I think John's got the 2035.
Yeah, I've got the 2035.
Yeah, John had more money than me. And I bought the pop filter on the front of John's mic, and then the shock mount underneath it, and then the cable and stuff. All that was about $123 after tax. Didn't pay for shipping because Amazon Prime, baby, woot woot. And it was so hectic coming over here, getting the twins in the car, and then getting my girlfriend's daughter in the car. It was when it was all said and done, I was just happy to be headed over here, and I forgot my microphone.
Which what was it? You said you didn't realize it until after you got out the car.
Didn't realize it until I was parked in front of John's house and started opening the door to get out of the vehicle. Because my initial thought was I gotta open the back door and grab my mic, and then I thought the mic that I didn't grab from the house. So yeah, $123, and its debut is gonna have to wait until next week.
Providing you don't forget it again.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
put a note in your like a reminder in your phone before you go to come over here, or put a sticky note on your car door.
I'm not gonna do any of that.
Wow.
Dedication. A sticky note on the car door. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's been good. So yeah, the mic's gonna have to wait till next week. But speaking of next week, John, I have 2 fantasy football drafts next Saturday.
2
of them. I have one at noon and another at 6 p.m. So yeah. So maybe Sunday. Could you do Sunday next week?
Yeah.
For the recording, or if we do it live again, whichever.
Yeah.
Or both. Okay. So.
Well, I mean, that takes like what, more than 45 minutes to do, I think.
What's that?
The draft.
Oh man.
The fantasy football.
Well,
league.
see, I do live drafts. I will never do another fantasy football draft on a computer because it is so much more fun to just be hanging out with like a group of your buddies, drinking beer, eating chicken wings, and drafting players who, if I draft them, are inevitably going to get hurt and cost me a season.
Well, I mean, like, when you do that, is it any different from the mock drafts? I mean, you get like so many seconds to draft.
That's the thing. Like, if you're on a computer.
Well, I mean, it's the way it is with the app too. Like,
yeah, but if you're doing it like, you know, by any kind of means like that, then there's a time thing. It's like a minute and a half or whatever it is, and it's super strict. Like when the clock runs out, it just grabs like the next like best available player
Yeah, like if you
Judging
don't.
by either if you created your own board, it'll go off those rankings, or if you didn't have one, it goes off whatever site you're using goes off their rankings.
Or what is it, like your favorite list or whatever?
Yeah, you kind of create a draft board and you just rank the players. So it'll if you run out of time, it'll pull off that whoever is like the
Yeah.
next one that hasn't been drafted. But with the way that we do it, it's a live draft. Everybody's sitting where I do mine in a restaurant,
What,
a
like
very
B-dubs
classy
or-
one. No, but yeah, B Dubs was an option this year, but we went with scoreboards, which is in Windhurst.
I've never
Previous
been there.
years I've done them in Big Lick, down behind Phase 2. But yeah. So anyway, get a draft board, put it up on the wall, and then everybody's just hanging out. We're eating, we're drinking, we're picking football players, and we don't pay attention to any kind of clock. Like if it takes you 10 minutes to make a pick, we don't even notice.
So there's actually no limit on the one that y'all do.
Right. But they typically end in about 2.5, 3 hours.
Jeez.
Yep.
What are you gonna basically like spend all day at the restaurant?
Well, my league is the one at noon on Saturday, and then two of my buddies have their league that they kind of like co-commissioner or whatever. And theirs is gonna be at a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll just be chilling in the living room.
Hmm.
The tab will be a lot cheaper.
Mhm.
We just bring a 6-pack.
Yeah.
And I've been hooked on Landshark lately, so it's like $8 for a 6-pack, and I'm all about it.
Yeah. I've never actually tried that, but yeah.
I don't think you drink like at all.
Yeah,
Do you?
I do some. Just not a whole lot.
Yeah, it's like super rare.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. Well, good on you, John. I don't have the self control.
I mean, I don't drink like it's water, like drink alcohol or beer like it's water. So, like, I like especially like going to amusement park and stuff like that. Instead of getting beer, I'll get water because I'd rather stay hydrated.
Right. And beer does the opposite of that.
Yeah.
But I'm the guy grabbing a beer.
But yeah,
Well,
like,
probably not an amusement park though, because dear God, the beer prices there are intense.
Well, I mean, you would know. Last time we what was it, Joe's bachelor party
yeah.
at Busch Gardens. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I was like the only one that didn't drink that day because it was so ungodly hot.
And of course, it's a bachelor party, so like I'm buying beer
Yeah.
for like Joe. Spent a lot of money. Don't regret any of it. It's a good time.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Connor flicking off the camera.
number one baby boy. I'll never forget that. Joe still get that picture too. It's great. And I still want to go back. That was like the first time in many years that I had been back to Busch
Mhm.
Gardens.
Yeah,
And
same.
it's been even longer for King's Dominion now. I haven't been to King's Dominion since I was a kid.
I think it's been about maybe 2 summers ago when I went to King's Dominion.
I mean, I don't
Maybe it
know.
was last summer.
I don't know what's changed since the last time I went. Last time I went, it was my middle school years, I think. Middle school to early high school, I think. So I'm sure there's a lot that's changed.
Oh yeah, the fact that they're not owned by like Paramount Pictures anymore.
They're not?
No, like the Tomb Raider ride is now called like the Crypt or whatever. It's gang related.
Oh, yeah, so I'd rather go from video game and movie reference to worse. Who's it owned
Yeah.
by now?
Hmm?
Who'd you say it's owned by?
Man, I don't remember.
But
Gosh,
that's
Cedar
crazy.
Rapids.
Ah.
Cedar Rapids owns it now. I'm pretty sure that's their name. But yeah, so all of the because everything was like trademarked.
Yeah.
like the Italian Job roller coaster that they like just built before like Paramount sold it or whatever.
Yeah.
So all those names had to go.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Even the Outer Limits?
Uh,
Even though that was like an
was
indoor,
that like a
indoor
Paramount
roller coaster?
movie thing? Well, that was Flight of Fear.
Oh yeah, Outer Limits Flight of Fear is like
I don't know what they call
both.
that now. Yeah, I don't know.
That's like the only indoor roller coaster they've got. Like
I refer to all of it as like the Paramount Pictures names.
Yeah,
or Paramount names, whatever.
because I mean, I remember that ride. It was like the fastest one to take off, like 0 to 60 in like
Oh,
a
and
second or something like that. They tell you to keep your head against the
Yeah,
back
that thing.
headrest, especially on launch. And it
Yeah.
was like all inside, and you couldn't see nothing except for when the lights would flicker for the effects and
Mhm.
whatnot.
they also tore down the volcano.
What?
Yep.
Why? Why?
I think it kept breaking down. They were having too many issues with it, so they eventually just scrapped it.
Well, I know the last time I was there, like when it shot up out the volcano, it was supposed to shoot the fire
Yeah,
when it did it. Which, when I was in the park the last time I went, which says how old that roller coaster is now. Well, was before they tore it down.
Rip.
Yeah, it's like it didn't really shoot the fire out when the roller coaster would come shooting out of it, but like every once in a rare occasion.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was like an
they're
issue.
trying to save money
Yeah.
on propane.
Yeah, I don't know if they were saving money, issues with that part of it, or if it's just something they only did part the time. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that worked out. I'm gonna say they were just trying to save a buck.
Yeah.
Fire's expensive, John.
pyrotechnics.
What's the going rate for fire nowadays? Where can I put this hat?
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, like going back to the fantasy football, like the one at work is like the 23rd. I think Nick is the one that's in Rudd that does it.
So how are y'all doing that? Is that
It's
going to be a
like-
live draft, or are you set up?
Live draft 23rd. It's technically on our lunch break, but like Vinny and a couple other people are like, there's no way it's gonna like 10 people.
Yeah, it's not gonna. You're
Draft
gonna
and-
go over an hour.
Yeah. It's like there's no way to complete it within an hour's time. Or like 45 minutes
Well,
technically. Like
Guess
within
what
that
second
hour-
shift's gonna do?
Within that lunch break time, it's like there's no way to finish it completely.
Second shift is also gonna take a 2 or 3 hour lunch. Then you
Wait,
guys.
so second shift is doing like the work fantasy football too, or
Nope.
Oh.
Nobody said anything to like any of us. Like it was already like filled or whatever.
Well, I know like Nick was going through asking everybody, like legitimately everybody on first shift,
Yeah.
like if they want to be in on it because they needed at least 10 people. And then like if they didn't get the 10 people on first shift, then they would try to like see if anybody on second shift would do it. So,
Mm-hmm.
but they managed to get
No
10
one
people
said a
from
word.
first.
So that's what, and like, and when I was, that's the first thing I thought when I was told about it. And then I was also told that it was a live draft. They were going to do like the draft at work. I thought to myself, I mean, the live draft takes 2.5, 3 hours every time I do one. So if that's the case, you best believe next Friday I'm taking a long break. I'll be sitting there watching football.
I mean, I don't know. It'll be the first time I've done the fantasy football league. Like I've done one mock draft so far, which I need to do more. So,
Yeah, they're that's a good thing to do to get an idea of when players are getting picked.
because I mean, like the one I did last time, it only gave you like 20, 30 seconds to choose.
Mhm.
So
Do you
like I
know,
started scrolling through the list, trying to vaguely look at stats of players and the positions, and trying to like just like add it to a favorites list. And then of course sometimes like other people would choose and it would be removed from the list before it would get to me. It's like, all right, well screw it, I'll try this person next on it, and then it would say remove from list because that person chose it. And it's just like I just kept adding the stuff to that list, so it'd be faster to go back. So, all right, well, this person instead of scrolling through that really long list.
Yeah.
which like they went through and did like it was like a little small cup, which I had to reach in there with like 2 fingers to
So-
get the piece of paper out, and they had the numbers in there to draw. Like,
What's your draft position? Like, what number pick do you have?
because like they walked around with the cup with the numbers in it folded up, and you had to reach in the cup and pick one, and I ended up picking 3. Like on the
good.
first pick, I'll pick
3 is
third,
good.
and Nick ended up getting first.
Of course he did. It's his league. he knew.
Well, I mean,
he knew which paper.
Oh yeah, or just he got that. Well, he probably. I think he was like one of the last ones to go, probably. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, you think about it, it's like whoever goes first is gonna go last on the second wave. So
the way that we do it, I take playing cards, and I'll go ace 2 all the way through. Well, we had 10 last year. This year we got 12, so I'll have to add like Jack and Queen or whatever. But yeah, so we have the cards and we shuffle them and lay them all out on a table, and everybody just goes and grabs a card, and then the corresponding number is your draft pick. But having the number 3 overall pick, you need to go running back. So you're either gonna
for the third, like the third on the list
because
to pick.
running backs are like, well, not that they're scarce, but a lot of teams go running back by committee. So you've got teams that use multiple, like 2 or 3 running backs, but there are a few like elite backs in the league. So I mean, depending on his holdout situation, you got Zeke for the Cowboys. He's one of those elite guys. You've got Kamara from the Saints. He's gonna go probably first or second pick in like every draft. McCaffrey, little white boy for the Panthers. Dude's a monster. David Johnson for the Cardinals. He's gonna be another good one. Maybe like Le'Veon Bell will go somewhere in there around that time. I don't really know what he's projected. But yeah, so that's my tip on your first pick. I would say keep it between, you got Elliott, Kamara, and McCaffrey. So those are your 3.
Yeah.
Whichever one of those 3 is available at 3, take them. Because wide receivers are a lot more. I mean, there's just more options to choose from with wide receivers where you can get like steady points. So.
Yeah.
But getting one of those like elite backs is super important. If you get an early pick in the first round and you go away from a running back, that's not a good move. But you know, I've never won a championship, so what do I know?
Because what is it? Like they have it set up: quarterback, wide receiver, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, tight end,
a flex, a kicker, and a defense.
Is the flex like I guess
flex can be
wide receiver, running back, or tight end?
Or tight end, yeah. Some leagues make their flex include quarterback. You can start another quarterback.
And then you get the
But
1 kicker
weird.
and 1 defense for special teams. Defense, special teams.
Yeah. But yeah, so then, and it's also going to be like snake order. So you'll have the 3rd pick in the first round, and then you'll have the 8th pick in the second round.
Yeah.
It like mirrors.
1 to 10 and then 10 to 1 type thing.
Yep.
I don't know who's with the one at work. I don't know who's got 2nd pick. I don't know. It's like Nick, somebody, me, and then I think Vinny is after me at 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you get I mean, you got Nick. I don't know who that one is. Tim, Vinny, Zach, which is like the QC guy, me, Jeremy, which I think is Shane. Then you got Amir. And you got Frank, and then Herman that builds the pallets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think Big Blue Crew. I think that's Lacey. It's also back there in the Red Bud.
Yeah.
I think that's his, because some of them had changed the name of their team, so
Oh, that's another big thing with fantasy football. You got to have like a really catchy name. And for you, maybe not knowing the names of like so many players, you can just Google some.
Yeah.
But the one that I've gone with, well, I went with it last year. I'm gonna look to switch it up this year because I don't like to use the same name. So the Cowboys drafted a rookie linebacker in the first round, Leighton Vander Esch, and so my team name was, oh man, that was a nice old belly grumble. My team name was Vander Eschesketch. So, but that's a key thing there.
Yeah.
You gotta have a a good team name. It's gotta relate. It's gotta have like a player's name in it, and then kind of going into something else like Eschesketch. Yeah, I've seen.
So it's actually Esch, not Etch.
Yeah, it was his name, Vander Esch. Vander Eschesketch.
Nice.
Then there's a buddy of mine in my league named there's a player, Zach Ertz. ERTZ, that's his last name. And then another player is Tyler Eifert. His last name is Eifert. So my buddy's name is It Ertz When Eifert. So, I mean, there's good ones out there, man. But
Nice.
yeah, so I think the number one most important thing is draft running backs early. Second most important thing is team name. Means everything.
So, I mean, what is the other positions not as important as a running back?
It's just because running backs are kind of, as far as the individual goes, it's more scarce. Because, like I said, a lot of teams use 2 or 3 running backs.
Yeah.
And they don't really have like a feature back, like a primary back. But
you were chewing right into the mic.
But like the 3 I mentioned, Zeke Elliott, Alvin Kamara, and Christian McCaffrey, not only are they like featured running backs, but they also catch the ball a lot. So they're used in a bunch of different ways, a variety of ways. And so they're good for points. Do you know if your league is standard or PPR?
I'm sure it'll say.
Because that changes the strat.
Let's see. No, standings. I obviously have nothing because I've never done that before. It just says Silver League. Yeah. I guess.
Do you have can you go to like the scoring? Go to like your league page and then scoring or something?
Team levels. And it's got, standings.
Well, PPR is points per reception. So for every catch a player gets is 1 point. And then, of course, it's like tacked on to the yards. That should tell you right there the page you're on.
Draft type, life, standard.
Standard.
Draft time.
Okay, it's standard.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have PPR, so the catches don't really matter. You're just looking for yards and touchdowns. So it kind of changes the draft strategy a little bit.
Tools. Playoffs, week 15 and 16 for teams. Higher seed wins. Playoff tiebreaker.
Okay.
Roster positions.
Mm-hmm.
Negative points, yes. Fractional points, yes.
And that draft is going to be Friday.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Why'd
you pause the Madden download?
Because I guess it was eating up the bandwidth.
Oh. We played in about 1 hour. Well, we could be halfway into that by now. Bandwidth.
I mean, I have pretty decent internet. But yeah, it still eats it up when you're trying to live stream and download it at the same time.
Which one of us used to have McDonald's internet?
That would be you.
That was me. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course it was.
And for anybody watching this recording after the podcast, we are currently live streaming it. I meant to say at the beginning of the podcast recording, but TC, yes, we are talking about fantasy football right now.
We just kind of talk. I don't know. Dang. Oh yeah, so I'm hoping at some point this week we both will have seen John Wick 3.
Or at least by next weekend. Or
Right, so
next
then,
weekend.
so then we could talk about it next weekend.
Oh yeah. Like I said, it's like it's at the venue now.
Yeah.
It's out of the Regal, so it's
A little bit
less
kinder to the
pricey.
wallet. Yeah. That's what I need.
Because most people, they don't just buy the ticket, which at the Regal alone, even matinees like $10-11. Even
Mhm.
matinee went up at the Regal now.
Yeah, I know. Because I would hit that up all the time. I would watch all my movies like Saturday at noon, and now it's like, oh, I'm not even getting a deal.
Yeah, then you had
I'm
popcorn
almost paying
and
the same
drinks.
price. Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. It was really good. I saw it the day it came out. Nice. Regal has an unlimited movie pass now.
Did somebody say that?
Yeah.
Talking fantasy football? Yes. Who's TC231?
Follower. I'll say the front of it should be like right there. So like you're not trying to like talk from over here into it when
I
you
was
were
just
looking
talking.
at
I was talking as I was looking at it. Yeah. And even with my contacts, that's some small print. Oh well, I guess Regal is just like a name, and there's a bunch of Regals. I was thinking because they said Regal, it was somebody from here. But yeah,
I mean, it is like a wide.
yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking. Yeah.
I mean, see.
So I
'cause,
want to.
like, that, for example, it's downloading at like 69 megabytes, or 70 megabytes per second. It's still going up. Stop going up. But yeah.
Wait, so do you not want it to go up?
I mean, not past like 73 where it was at.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it'll download faster, but it'll eventually start eating the bandwidth to where it's all going to that instead of the stream.
Right. And then we'll be on stream like.
And dropped frames like crazy.
Yeah. I get it. I know how this works.
This is Thomas Marple, by the way. So I am from.
Oh, it's Thomas.
From where
Yeah.
you were from?
Yeah, I went to CVCC with Thomas.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a fellow Cowboys fan. I run into him at B-Dubs probably a little too often.
That's how often you go there.
But not during football season. I feel like I run into him a lot
What do you
out
do?
somewhere watching the game.
I was like, where you go like every weekend? Go Cowboys.
Yep. I used to well, when me and my brother were like living together, we had the like DirecTV Sunday ticket thing.
Yeah.
But then when he moved out, like I wasn't gonna pay for that on my own.
I was like,
that thing's expensive.
I was like, were you like living by yourself at that time, or when he moved
I
out?
was living when I kind of moved and I moved like somewhere else or whatever, and then I went back to the same spot that we were living, and I was by myself for like a handful of months, and then I let Mike move in. It's easier on the bills, and then Mike's dad was telling me, you should let Mike move in. And I was like, all right, that's cool.
Oh, God.
And me and Mike had talked about it too, so
Yeah.
I'm all about somebody paying half the bills.
Yeah. You think they should sign Zeke?
I do, Thomas. I do think they should sign Zeke. But I mean, like, it's just the money thing. Like, he's gonna want a lot of money. Like his body's getting banged up. They use him a ton. I mean, he gets like 350 to 400 touches a year, and well, if you over the course of a 16 game season, the one like 10 game season he had, the numbers are a little bit lower, obviously, but he was on pace that year to have the same amount of touches. But yeah, so he's just, I don't know. I mean, he's looking out for himself, looking out for his future, trying to get some money before his body gets too banged up. And running backs take a beating, especially somebody that plays like Zeke, because he's the type of guy that looks for contact.
Oh, that was like what? That's about like Emmitt Smith, wasn't
it? Yeah.
Yeah, he just like
because Emmitt was kind of shifty, and he would lower the pads, but he didn't really have like breakaway speed or anything. So yeah, that was similar.
He was more like
but Zeke has breakaway speed and the power.
He was more
the quickness.
I say, wasn't Emmitt just more? I mean, it's been years, and my mom, obviously being a huge Cowboys fan, knows. I mean, she could tell you back from like the 70s of like the Cowboys days. But wasn't Emmitt just like mainly like the powerhouse that just go through people? He didn't have so much of speed, but he had the power.
Yeah, well, he didn't have the kind of breakaway speed. Like once he got away from people, it wasn't a guarantee that he was going to take it to the house. I mean, he had good enough speed, but he could get caught.
I mean, he was one
but
of the
he wasn't.
go-to.
I never viewed him as like a power back type. He wasn't the.
Well, I mean, he was
just kind of a combination. He was a nice combination of like everything.
I mean, he was always like the go-to, like especially when it came to like needing the touchdown and needing the point.
Yeah, he was the focal point of those teams in the early '90s, like for sure. And if you look at Aikman's stats, like that kind of gives it away too. They didn't really throw the ball a lot.
And what was it like?
Of course, the league was more like that too. Now, the past 8-10 years or whatever, it's been really pass happy.
Kind of like it was with what was it, Tiki Barber? I think that was on the Tampa Bay.
Tiki was for the New York Giants. His twin Rondé was Tampa Bay, but he played defense.
Yeah, I could remember which one it was. I don't think neither one of them still play either.
No, Rondé lasted quite a bit, but he's gone now too. Tiki retired. I feel like he retired 4 or 5 years before his brother did. But he was a running back. Running backs take that beating.
Oh yeah, can't believe Dak didn't accept the $30 million per year.
I mean, I can believe it with where the mark. I mean, if you look, it's all right. I keep wanting to say like 4 different points at the same time. So Dak's like skill set, if you kind of look at like what he's done, like the numbers he's put up. See, I think he's good, but we haven't run that type of offense where we've relied on him. We rely on Zeke.
He wins, but he's not that good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm I know the Cowboy fans will go like back or they'll argue about it. I am on like the pro Dak side. I think Dak is like a good quarterback, and I think his numbers actually show that. Like he obviously he has moments. You'll watch games and it gets frustrating. Who have somebody like wide open on like a flag route and he just overthrows him, and it's an easy touchdown if he just hits the guy, but he floats it too much or whatever. But anyway, so it seems crazy, given his skill set, that he would turn down $30 million a year, but everything's based on market.
That happens quite a
bit. and I mean, I think the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks, I think Carson Wentz is 5th, and he's making $32 million a year. So I think Dak's gonna get somewhere between like 32 and 34.
But I mean, $30-some million a year to play football professionally. I mean,
it's a lot of money, but you're worth whatever somebody's willing to pay you.
I know.
So, and then you've got the business, the company that you work for is a multi-billion-dollar business. So salaries are a bit higher.
Yeah, and I mean,
if our company made billions of dollars, I would be asking for a significant raise.
And I mean, you
But,
know, like they gotta pay other
yeah,
players on the team too. So, which, I mean, but talking about football, one person I never grew to be a fan of went from Virginia Tech to what was that? I think originally the Falcons.
Mike Vick.
Yep. I didn't even have to say the name. I knew you. I didn't like him when he was with Tech. I didn't like him when he moved to the NFL. It's like he
I
was.
love Mike Vick. From a football standpoint,
He was. I don't. In my opinion, he was too much of a ball hog. Like he had wide open,
yeah,
like wide receivers and stuff like that. It's like he's a quarterback, but yet he'd prefer to run it instead of throwing it when he had open teammates, even in a touchdown.
I think Romo's golfing, Thomas. If I was to guess where Romo's at,
Romo.
I'm pretty sure he's golfing.
Is he not with the Cowboys anymore?
Nah, he retired
I did not know that. Wow.
2 years, 2 years ago.
Who's the quarterback now?
He retired at the end of 2016 season. Dak Prescott.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've heard my mom talking about him. I didn't realize he was the quarterback now, though. I thought, like, what? Did he used to be the backup quarterback? Because I heard that name before he became the quarterback.
When he first came in,
I think he was like, he played better than Romo when Romo would get
Romo
hurt.
retired at the end of the end of the 16 season, right? I don't know. Let me know, Thomas. When did he retire?
Yeah, he replaced Romo.
But yeah, so he came in after Romo.
That's what I thought, because I'd heard that name before.
Yeah. Romo got hurt in preseason in Dak's rookie year. So when the games actually counted during the regular season,
It was him as quarterback.
Dak was the starter.
And they went further with him.
Then, yeah, because he played well, the team played well, that when Romo was healthy, they just stuck with Dak.
Yeah. Which I mean, like, I remember those days too. Like, even my mom, being the biggest Cowboy fan of all, like, even said, like, for Romo to just stay out the rest of the season, don't even come back, especially, like, after the playoffs hit. Because they were getting so much further through the season with him instead of Romo. So it's like,
there's a lot of people that had like a sour taste about Romo, but man, I love Tony Romo. I thought the dude was great. The only thing that he lacked was like what seemed like a leadership kind of quality. He just kind of, I think ideally you want your quarterback to be the bona fide leader of the team, and that wasn't really Romo. And I kind of wish he had that quality, but outside, man, I loved everything about Romo. Everything about him.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I remember, like, big controversy with him when he was dating, what was it, Jessica Simpson, I think?
Mm-hmm.
And how, when she was at the game, how horribly he played because he was so distracted.
I don't buy into that. He just had a bad game.
I don't know. It's like, then it was like a running joke every time he played bad. It's like she must be in the stand somewhere watching, and he's distracted by it. But yeah.
Quick side note: he dated Jessica Simpson and Carrie Underwood, and his current wife, is more attractive than like both of them, by far.
Who is his current wife?
I don't know her name. I don't know if she's any kind of like celebrity of any sort, but I mean, it's a good looking woman. He went from two of like, well, Jessica Simpson was a lot more popular at that time than she is now, but two like big time celebrities, and then his wife now is like blows him out of the water.
Well, I mean, too, I don't think she has done anything else entertainment wise as far as movies or whatever else she was into.
Yeah, I think her career arc is done.
I mean, there's some actors and actresses that you don't see anymore for like years, and all of a sudden they come back, and some of them you just don't see anymore because they choose to get out of that life of acting and being a celebrity.
Has Denzel done anything recently? I watched Book of Eli like 2 weeks ago.
You know how old that movie is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it like when it came out. I mean, it's always been one of my favorite movies, but I'm just saying, like, I watched it 2 weeks ago, and God, so some of the green screen stuff doesn't really work today. It looks kind of bad, but
Denzel.
But that's just a good movie.
He's also done Equalizer 2 is not that old.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I haven't seen it though. We need Training Day too.
Equalizer 2 was back in yeah.
That's a sequel everybody's been yelling for.
He did good. He does good in all his movies. Equalizer was 2018.
Love me some Denzel.
Wait,
I like
what?
how these podcasts go.
What? Are you telling? Okay. No, I just looked it up. Apparently he's gonna be playing Lord Macbeth in a Macbeth drama movie that's coming out. It's in production now.
That seems like his role.
The Scottish lord becomes convinced by a trio of witches to become the next king of Scotland. His ambitious wife supports him in his plans of seizing power. Yeah. So he's got upcoming projects that's in production now. The latest one he did was Equalizer 2, so last year.
That wasn't that good though, was it? Like, critically?
I wanted to see it. Well, I heard it was good. I wanted to see it, but I never got to. Plus, I didn't see the first one fully through, so
Yeah.
I didn't want to go see the second one without seeing the first one. And
I thought critically it got like shit on.
which the first one was 2014. And did you ever see Two Guns?
Yeah, with Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
And Magnificent Seven. You go back further, like Man on Fire and Out of Time or two, and John Q.
Yeah, I think that's
3 really good movies.
Yeah, those kind of seem like the end of the Denzel lore.
And
Like the movies after that, like Two Guns and Equalizer, you don't people didn't talk about Denzel the same after like Manchurian Candidate and Out of Time and Man on Fire.
And then you go further back of a movie I've seen God too many times. I can't even count how many times. Remember the Titans.
Yep.
But yeah.
Well, that's good. We covered Denzel's career in the podcast. That's something I did not expect. But we have handled it with grace.
Like those are his only movies out of a long list.
We've covered all we need to cover on Denzel's movie career. So, man, what to talk about now?
Well, I mean,
God.
like originally the main topic was going to be Marvel this time.
Right, yes, that's so earlier I said that I like the way these like podcasts go because we kind of talked about like, well, I mean, you know, what do you think we should talk about? And then it was like, well, we should talk more Marvel because both of us are like huge Marvel fans. It's like the big thing in movies right now, and yeah, so we talk more Marvel, and then we start talking, and it turns into like fantasy football, then some Cowboys talk because Thomas is the only person in chat, and then Denzel, which seemed interesting.
Well, because like we said at the beginning of the podcast, we want to obviously talk Star Wars.
I really want to do a Star Wars one. I think
Yes.
the Star Wars episode is going to be fantastic. But
and there's so much to go into for Star Wars. Like
Star Wars?
I said Star Wars, not Star.
I don't know. Check the tape. Run it back. I heard whores.
But I love that franchise, and I'm looking forward to the game that's coming out. And like I had thought of the idea, which you love the idea, how we get Joe into it, and
I like
stuff
that idea a lot.
Like topics like that, where he'd be really into. He could be like a reoccurring guest for those topics. What?
Moonrage and Biscuit topping my my bits.
Oh, that's been like that for a while.
Well, John, I'm gonna change that because I'm made of money.
Oh, man, you got that Jameson money,
minutes.
huh?
Yeah. Love my job.
I mean, I highly doubt any of them would see this podcast from work, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, with it going up on YouTube, they might come across it.
I seriously do love my job.
Bill, raise. Don't know if you'll see this, Bill, but wink, wink. Shout out to you, brother.
I made the comment in front of Bill. Bill was our boss. I made the comment in front of him while talking to him and Mike that with all the work I do, I am massively underpaid.
I am being
And
massively
I don't think Bill even like blinked.
Probably not, because it's like, wait, you're talking money? You need more money? Wait, what? That means I
think
would
he
have
was
to
just
pay
like,
you
well,
more.
anyway.
But I mean, I'm the one being seriously underpaid for what I do there. Right now I'm getting screwed. They need to pick up the pace. Start lighting matches into their ass to pick up the pace on the hiring.
So let's jump into Marvel. Let's just do it.
Because last week we talked primarily, like, we'll have the main subject at hand and then obviously get pulled in different directions for little minor
Yeah,
subjects.
I think our podcasts go a lot like any conversation with Migos. Where skirt where you're talking about this and talking about that, it kind of branches off, and then you just do all this number, and then you eventually come back, and then it's another thing that branches off, and it goes like that. I think they call that ADD, and that's
tree.
like, yeah, the tree of conversation.
Every thought you have comes
topic
out
tree.
in vocal.
So I think that's what happens with the podcast, and I mean, I don't mind it. I'm cool with it.
Oh.
It's the way, if you were having a conversation with me in real life, this is how it would go down. We would talk fantasy football and then immediately shift to Denzel Washington, and then shift to Marvel,
And then Star Wars.
Oh yeah, and Star Wars would be sprinkled in.
And then video games.
Yeah. So I'm good with it. So I think when they going into Marvel, I think when they at Comic-Con, when they talked about, or they showed the
Oh, the gnat.
it's a gnat, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gnats indoors.
Well, I mean, the back door is on the other side of that door, so I mean,
Oh, okay.
the basement door.
Yeah.
Which, for anybody that may hear a dog in the background, it's one of my
me.
dogs. Don't get her riled up.
Yeah, do that, then it's just a real dog barking. So when they released it, when I saw it, right, as I'm seeing it, people like tweeting about it, people at Comic-Con taking pictures and tweeting about it. So the first thing I see is like Black Widow, and I'm like, man, word, like there's gonna be a Black Widow movie, because of her demise in Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool, and I'm all for anything Scarlett Johansson.
But she also has, well, that's gonna be on Disney Plus, isn't it? The Black Widow movie.
The movie? No.
I thought it was a movie
The
that
movie's
they were gonna
all part of the MCU and all that jazz.
I did not realize. I don't know. At one point, it was saying something about Disney Plus. That's why I don't know. It's been.
I mean, it'll probably hit Disney Plus like
because it was San Diego Comic-Con.
Before DVD or something. That's a nice selling point.
Yeah, when they revealed Phase 4 of the MCU. Which, speaking of which, because Avengers Endgame just came out on Blu-ray and DVD, I actually just got it today myself.
Humble brag.
Oh yeah. I mean, it is a must. And I was one of those people that went opening weekend to go see Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man was not able to, but that was like, I think, a few weeks after the release.
Yep.
But it was still, or a couple weeks, something like that, but it was still jam-packed in that theater. Luckily managed to find seats. It was either all the way up front, neck breaking, you're looking straight up at the screen, or all the way in the back, so chose all the way in the back. So you're not like, oh god, okay, what's going on over here?
Bon Jovi.
Y'all watch any horror movies? Yes, we do. Or yeah, I do. I mean,
Yeah, don't say yes, we do. I do not watch horror movies at all. Not a fan.
why not? You're not looking forward to It 2?
Nope.
Or It Chapter 2?
Didn't see it. Didn't see the original It. Didn't see the second It.
Well,
Or the remake It.
Well, you've got the mini series with Tim Curry, the original.
Nope.
Love that one, and the movie with Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise.
Nope.
And then he's reprising the role for It Chapter 2, which is like, the mini series was so long, legitimately it took up 2 VHS tapes, or if you got it on DVD, it was half of it was on the front of the disc and the other half was on the back of the disc. It was such a long series, so that's why they split it into the movie It into part 1 and part 2, basically like 2 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like the first half is them as kids and the second half is what's coming out where they're grown adults. Can't wait. I'm with you there.
I just can't, like, I don't like the
clown aspect?
Nah, clown, I don't really have, like, any kind of phobias or anything.
Well, some people do.
Yeah.
Some people blame it on that movie.
Well,
For that matter, you might as well blame Stephen King, but, I mean. Why do I keep yawning?
Oh, lacking oxygen. Like when you're waiting, like you know something's gonna happen, and like you're just waiting to be scared. Like the suspense, I guess.
So you don't play
that feeling. No, I'll play video games.
You'll play horror games, but you
Yep.
won't watch the movies.
Yep.
It is the same feeling for
Well-
anybody who's watched my streams, like even with the Resident Evil games, like.
Well, that's watching a stream.
No,
if
no, no.
If I'm playing a game, like I feel like I have control.
No. I'm talking about like legitimately, like people watching me stream horror games. Like I can vouch for experience, like playing like the Evil Within 2 or the Resident Evil games, like the newest ones. Like literally, it's like you know something's gonna happen, but it's just like it'll still catch you off guard type thing.
Yep.
I mean, I love it, but it's like it will still like.
Until Dawn is one of my favorite video games.
Oh yeah, definitely. But like to me, it's different when you're actually in control of the horror game, and those jump scares pop out at you, because like you're looking for it to happen, so you're expecting it, but you do not know when, and it will do it like when you least expect it. Whereas horror movies, you're just like you can see everything coming ahead of time, like. Scream movies. The dude calls him on the phone. They lock the front door, run upstairs when the dude said he's in the house. It's like, why? So you know what's coming. I mean,
Yeah.
and then most of the time they either get killed or they get killed and thrown off the balcony or die from being thrown off the balcony. So it's like, that's why I never liked those movies. Like I gave it a shot, but. It's probably my favorite movie franchise.
We'll have Thomas on the podcast, and you guys can talk horror movies. And I'll just sit off to the side with a flashlight.
I'm so scared. Dim the lights.
No, don't dim the lights.
You're gonna be sitting there like a Blair Witch Project flashlight underneath your mouth. I'm so scared right now.
But like, yeah, video games like I haven't played the new Resident Evil. But
with the Resident Evil 2, like the remake.
No, 7.
Oh, 7 Biohazard. That's a good game. I've beaten that like off stream. I've played it all the way through. I played that before I streamed it before.
Yeah,
Resident Evil 4 is my favorite.
4 is my favorite too. I played the like remastered one.
The remake of Resident Evil 2 was pretty good too.
I haven't played that.
But
I'm trying to remember what system I played. I don't remember.
But like a certain point,
what system did they have? The 4 remaster?
was it cross-platform?
But I mean, like, what generation?
Oh, what generation?
But 4 is my favorite too. Although I've only played a little bit of 2. I've beaten 4, I've beaten 5.
So you played the original version of Resident Evil 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Which I think that was what, PlayStation 2 maybe?
Was it 2?
It may have been.
It was before that.
Or it was either PlayStation 1 or 2.
I thought it was 1. But I might be wrong.
Which I mean,
5 is my least favorite.
What's that? Chris Redfield?
Yeah.
I believe.
It was too action. It wasn't really like a horror game. It was just like it was a shooting game.
The 6th one was the same like that, wasn't it?
Well, the 6th one I thought was a nice blend.
Because
it had more like horror aspects than 5 did, and also had like a lot of action.
The 5th one,
but 6 is my second, like least favorite.
Like the 5th one had Chris Redfield and
which I guess
her name.
It's only the four that I played, so they're 3 and 4 on my list.
But I forgot the 5th one had the girl that was like your teammate or whatever.
Yeah, it was
forgot her name.
Yeah. I don't remember. For some reason my head keeps going with like a J, like a Julie or Julia or something.
Hi Bert, how's it going? Welcome.
Bert.
How are you doing today? Resident Evil 5. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I like how I teased talking about Marvel and then we started talking about Resident Evil. Oh, we started talking about horror because of Thomas. It's his fault.
Chris Redfield. Shiva.
I was close. I said Julie.
How is that remotely
You
close?
really just flip some letters around
and add some other ones.
Erase some and write in what it's supposed to be, and you got Shiva. I was sniffing it out. I was on the trail.
Was it you that played through that game? With me sometimes. I played through it before.
5?
5, yeah.
Maybe. I know me and Cody played it a lot. I probably played it with you. I played that game a lot. I mean, because it's a fun game, but when I say it's my least favorite, I'm talking about as far as the Resident Evil goes, because it's not a horror game to me. Like, there was nothing about that game that was scary.
Kind of like
it was just an action. It was an action, like, shoot 'em up thing.
Yeah.
I like the game itself. I just don't like it as a Resident Evil game. But I played it a lot because I like shooters.
The Resident Evil 2 remake had a lot of the aspects of Resident Evil 7, like playable wise. It felt a lot like that one.
I want to play that. I need to get on that.
It's just Resident Evil 7 was first person, whereas the remake of the second one was third.
Guess how much Spider-Man I've played now?
20%.
The same amount as last week. I have not picked the controllers up. All right, Thomas, we'll let you dictate this stuff, because in other words, we're just going to be running off the rails. Which Marvel movies y'all looking forward to most? I will go first. I was looking at you, but you're too busy
Well,
studying your Endgame case.
I mean, like the reveal of Phase 4 kind of caught me off guard with the last reveal that they're bringing into the MCU,
Mm.
and that being Blade.
Damn it. All right, go ahead. I was gonna say, like, the one I'm most looking forward to of what they released for Phase 4 is Blade. I really want to see like what they do with Blade.
That's what I'm curious about, especially who they have portraying him. But apparently, he's not going to be like the exact character of what Wesley Snipes played in his trilogy. Yeah, I mean, he's
Blade.
going to be like a daywalker, like Blade
Yeah.
was, but not like the exact same character, from what I've heard.
Thomas agrees. He likes Blade.
It's the one I'm looking forward to too.
Yeah, that. I mean, it's that one. Then I think next is Doctor Strange for me because I really liked the first one.
What was it? The Madness,
The
Multiverse,
Multiverse of Madness. Yeah.
Which, I mean, it was teased and, well, obviously it was brought up in Endgame of it being a multiverse because of the ancient one, and then teased, and even though it was Quentin Beck that talked about it, and for anybody who's seen Far From Home knows how that went with Mysterio and Spider-Man Far From Home, and now
Snap. Sorry.
and now you got the Multiverse of Madness for Doctor Strange. So you know there is a multiverse there, and it would be a great opportunity.
So Blade is Phase 5.
Dang.
According to this Rotten Tomatoes article, Blade is Phase 5. I didn't know that.
They announced that for Phase 4 though. It was like the last one they announced for Phase 4, unless it's been pushed back.
Well, they did Guardians too, right?
Guardians
3?
I believe so.
Yeah, which James Gunn is back for that whole controversy thing that surrounded him. He was fired for like 8 months, 6 months, whatever it was, and then they rehired him.
Which I remember hearing that oh gosh. Not like last week. The one who plays Drax the Destroyer.
Batista.
Yeah, Batista. Like he was James Gunn is a reason he is in that movie. So like he said, like if they fired him, he's quitting because he is the reason he's there.
A lot of the cast came out and supported him and whatever. Which
But,
like I was.
He's the main one that said like legitimately
Yeah.
like he will no longer be in those movies if they don't bring him back because he was the reason he got brought in the first place. So that was something he couldn't just let go, which I can
Yeah.
understand completely.
I was glad to see that get resolved because I don't know. It's one of those things where you tweet something out, and it's in like a different, social climate, and then as like the times change, and then you grow and you learn. He apologized for it, and like whatever it was, like years after apologizing for it, Disney fires him, and it's like, what the heck, man. I mean, people just they grow and they mature and they learn things and whatever, and that's been happening a lot as far as a lot of like racial stuff, sexual orientation, that kind of stuff.
Which
And I don't even know what the tweets were about. I'm just kind of assuming because that's typically the case when it's something like that.
like side note, when it comes to tweeting, like you have to be careful, especially if you're a content creator or live streamer for that matter, because like I saw a tweet from somebody the other day about it was something they tweeted or something Twitch found out and their channel got banned, but I mean I don't know for how long or what for, but apparently it was traced back to something that was tweeted and they banned his Twitch channel for it.
Yeah.
So it's like it can burn you in more ways than one, like because of it being social media. So
Yep. That's the thing, man. Like when you put it on the internet, it's out there.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I'm for, you know, people being able to learn and stuff from their mistakes, and then he apologized for it, and then giving him a chance to like bounce back. So they rehired him, and so now he's gonna do, which while he was fired, he agreed to do Suicide Squad 2.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was part of that.
Yeah.
Actually, that's why Guardians 3 won't happen until he's
because it's
100% done.
Yeah, it's got to wait for Suicide Squad
Yeah.
to be done, because I mean that's how good the dude is, man. He's fired for like 6 months or 8 months, and then signs on with Warner Brothers to do Suicide Squad, and then Disney's like, oh,
2 different universes too.
Yeah.
But I mean,
What? It's 2 different. Well, yeah. You mean like DC and Marvel?
DC universe and Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Kind of like Ben Affleck played both sides of the whole Marvel DC type stuff.
Yeah. And Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, true.
Green Lantern and
Deadpool. Oh, Wade Wilson.
Some people got it like that. They should bring
Except for not a whole lot of people like, well,
they should bring Henry Cavill
to Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd be on board with that.
I'm still excited to see what they do with the Witcher series, so on Netflix.
Gerald.
All right. Okay, that comment is never going to be heard from people because Joe didn't post those.
Right.
That rendition.
But that's fine.
Podcast,
That's fine.
so.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of stuff that we laugh about, and people are just going to be like, I don't know.
It was a name mishap from Gerald from the Witcher series, and good God, our friend Joe had to crucify you for it.
Man, his reaction was so good to that.
It's Gerald.
Gerald? Gerald? Really?
Oh, it's Gerald. The mistake was like Gerald.
No, the mistake, you said Gerald. His name is something else. I don't play the games, man. I don't know. It's not my kind of game. But yeah, we should call Joe and ask him how to pronounce.
Phone a friend.
Joe, what's Gerald's name? Then he's gonna say Jill.
No,
they call Jill Gerald. I'm gonna call him.
It's Gerald, I think, was said, and then Gerald was the actual. I don't know.
No, Gerald is not his name.
Okay, no, Gerald.
You gotta learn from your mistakes, John.
Gerald was said, and then Geralt was his name.
Yeah.
Geralt of Riviera. It's been so long since I played that game on the third one.
Let's see if he answers.
And then they got they're coming out the series. Isn't he on vacation though?
Is he?
I don't know. I know Amber's at the beach.
I don't think he went though.
I don't know.
Because whenever he goes, Tim always calls me to see if I can help him in the mornings. Whenever he has vacation or something. No, he's not gonna answer. What a bozo.
Hey, you've reached the voicemail box of Joe Barrett.
Hey.
I can answer your call. Leaving a voicemail, your name and number, and I'll get back to you. Thanks.
At the tone, please record your voice message. When you are finished recording, you may hang up or press pound for more options.
How do you pronounce Gerald? Alright, so we'll find out.
Well, it's gonna be funny if it's that and
It's not What?
Geralt.
I think it is like Geralt.
Yeah.
Geralt, because it ends with a T.
But he's gonna call you back, Gerald. He's gonna have the
I hope he does.
He's gonna have the same reaction as he did the first.
Gerald?
And start laughing. His name is Gerald. Lecture incoming.
We're gonna call him Steve. So Henry Cavill is playing Steve in The Witcher 3 or The Witcher series on Netflix.
But
I'm excited about that though.
I am too.
The games aren't my thing, but just because of like the type of game it is, just that big open world RPG
Well-
stuff. I end up getting too like overwhelmed
Easily
in most of the
distracted.
games like that. Yeah, it's
Like-
just because there's so much other stuff to do. Like Horizon Zero Dawn is one of the few games like that I was able to beat. But that's not as massive as like
Red Dead
some of
Redemption,
the other ones. Haven't beaten it.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's not an RPG. Neither is Red Dead.
I'm talking about games that you can very easily get so many different side projects to do.
Wait, would Red Dead be considered an RPG?
Role-playing game.
Is there like skill tree and stuff in Red Dead that you can upgrade and
No.
customize? All right, then no.
I mean, you
We're
can
not gonna
upgrade.
call it-
You can get weapons that have better, like.
Yeah,
more
that's not the
damage and
same
stuff.
though. So, all right, so Red Dead's not an RPG.
So it's not really like the Division type thing, where it's skill tree kind of thing.
Yeah,
Better weapons and in a sense.
but then with those games, man, you're still talking like hours on top of hours
Oh, Red Dead alone
to get through
the
them.
second one was 60+ hours to do everything.
Yeah, it's a lot of time.
If you can, the main story that is, and then you get the epilogue after, which I.
I still haven't beaten the DLC for Last of Us.
You serious right now?
Dead ass.
I have played that and The Last of Us like through multiple times.
Good. I played the
I've
Last
been
of Us
waiting for
a
years.
ton. I recently beat well, I don't know about recently, but maybe about 6 months ago, I played The Last of Us again. I love that game,
I do too.
but I just have not played. And I bought it. I have it on my PlayStation. That's one of the games I'll never like uninstall because I don't know when I'm gonna go to it again.
yeah.
So regardless of space, I will always keep The Last of Us as like an application on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
But although I don't think it takes too long to download, but maybe it's more of like a.
Depends on your internet.
I just
but
love seeing it. Like it would break my heart to have to delete it. So,
And I've been waiting years for The Last of Us 2.
oh, it's coming, baby.
I'm gonna be so pissed if they put it on PlayStation 5 and not 4. If they did that,
no,
I would be
don't
so
think they're gonna do
mad.
that.
Because I think the reveal for PS5 is gonna be what, February?
I think they'll
is
do.
rumored?
I think they'll do it for PS4, and then pretty quickly come out with like a makeover version of it for PS5. I think they'll do what like Rockstar did with GTA 5.
Well, I mean, like The Last of Us, it was originally PlayStation 3, and then PS4 came out, and they did like a remastered version of it to upgrade graphics and all that,
Mhm.
and released a remastered version for the next gen console. Which a lot of PlayStation
Yeah,
games are doing
I went
that.
to like GTA for my comparison, and The Last of Us did exactly that. Could have just used that as an example. But yeah.
But as Dead by Daylight is another fun horror game too. In the horror.
Yeah, I've
genre,
seen
so-
like I've never played
Oh,
it, but I've
God.
seen streams. That's one of my when it like first came out and a lot of people were
anticipation of
playing
that,
it. Yeah,
You're trying to do what needs to be done, and you got the killer coming through. The
when you're
music,
doing like
especially
when you're doing a
headphones.
generator and you miss your mark and bang, and then you're just like freaking out.
Between that and just the music you can listen to, and you're trying to like look around as you're doing it and do that at the same time, because like they can just come around a corner out of nowhere too. So it's like you're on edge the whole time, and it's
Mhm.
even better when you're playing with headphones and not through a TV speaker, because then
Yeah.
it's like right cupped to your ears. So then it gets you even more. Love it. I've actually been needing to actually stream that again. I haven't played that in a while. Need to.
That's a game I like to watch on stream.
But the what?
No, go ahead.
The Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness would be a perfect opportunity if they were to go the route of a multiverse of Spider-Man like has been kind of teased at, and like the anime, well, not anime, but cartoon version of Spider-Man into Spider-Verse, which apparently they wanted to get, I think, Tobey Maguire, I believe, for the voice of Peter Parker in that movie, but they didn't.
I didn't know that.
What I heard, it'd be a great opportunity to bring like his Spider-Man back into it, because everybody loved his Spider-Man for the most part. And if they could do, because obviously there was some bad blood that happened between Andrew Garfield and higher ups when he got fired from his Spider-Man. So if bygones could be bygones with that, it'd be a great opportunity to bring like all three of them into the same universe, because obviously all of them could be like from their own multiverse, their own universe, where you've got the Sam Raimi universe of Spider-Man, and then whatever the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield was based in, and then obviously the MCU version of Tom Holland Spider-Man.
I'm ready for him to do that.
Dude,
And I think we touched on it like a little bit last week or whatever, but I'd be all for that. I would love to see that.
it's a great opportunity for them to incorporate that with that movie alone, just because of it being like the multiverse of madness. So, and Doctor Strange also, on something I said earlier, was a great. It already teased at it being multiverses as well. Back even before like Endgame and Infinity War was a movie.
I'm gonna go through. And okay, so Blade is the one I'm most excited about, just because I want to see what they do with it.
Oh yeah.
I think the next movie that I forgot about Guardians 3 when we talked about it earlier, but I think it's Guardians 3, and then it's probably Doctor Strange, and then Black Panther 2, and then Black Widow. That might be my top 5 of the ones I'm looking forward to from what they announced at Comic-Con.
Which it kind of makes me wonder the route they'll take with incorporating Thor into the Guardians now. And then you get the Thor movie that's coming out that's going to be about Lady Thor. So it's be curious to see how they go with the actual character of Thor from here on out.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I hate the name though, which I think I said last week too.
What?
The Love and Thunder.
Yeah. I mean, it would be for Lady Thor, not actual
Yeah.
Thor. Because that would be a horrible name for Thor himself. A movie.
Some of these, like the Eternals,
Yeah.
there's just one I don't know much about. So
It'd be kind of like the Defenders, so it's like it's a whole different group. So, I mean,
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
yeah, that'd be kind of.
That's one I don't know much about.
That'd be kind of like the, I guess, become the bigger version of what Iron Fist was, I guess, when it comes to the whole martial arts MCU, like Marvel version. Whereas Iron Fist was more smaller. Would you say not as big as what Thor would be and whatnot? It wouldn't be that size category of a character. Iron Fist was more, that's why he was part of Defenders, not the Avengers.
Hated that show. Hated it. And I tried so hard to suffer through all the episodes.
The Defenders?
No, Iron Fist.
Oh.
I didn't watch, so I watched the first episode of Luke Cage. Started watching the second, couldn't do it.
I actually watched through.
Have not tried watching Jessica Jones, but I've heard good things.
I tried. Honestly, I watched about half the first season of Jessica Jones, and I don't know. That was just one of the Marvel series that did not grab me. it was just kind of, which that introduced Luke Cage. So I liked Luke Cage, but and that showed like the humbleness of him as a person though and character, even though he lives in Harlem and the stuff he goes through in life, day-to-day life. And I don't know. Iron Fist, I wanted to watch because of the whole martial arts aspect, because I love martial arts, but
So cheesy.
I
So
I
cheesy.
started to watch like the first episode and was kind of not really appeased by it, so.
Yeah. Daredevil's
And-
great.
Huh?
Daredevil's great.
Oh yeah, I love Daredevil
To
and the
round out
Punisher.
the Defenders.
Oh, and then Daredevil incorporated Frank Castle with Punisher, and then Punisher had its own standalone, which I have been stalling. God knows how long to finish that last season of the Punisher because of it being the final season. Even though it was only the second season, which
Yeah.
pissed me off. I'm like, why? But it contract reasons with Netflix and Disney. Because of Disney Plus coming out. Daredevil and Punisher were great shows. They were like two of my favorites to watch on Netflix.
I haven't seen Punisher.
Love those. Second season, I've gotten like halfway through it. But I've been holding off as long as possible because then it's gonna be like you're just gonna be rewatching it afterwards.
Well, John, we are not going to be able to get a game of Madden then. We'll just have to save that for another time. It's coming up on 8 o'clock here. And I'm going to have to go get my babies. But,
What time are you supposed to go get them? Or is it just
we're going to wrap this up
anytime?
here pretty soon, pretty quickly. Then I got to go get them. But, good yeesh. Oh, for anybody out there, Long John Silver's fish tacos are pretty good. They are pretty good.
Yeah, apparently you were it took a while.
I haven't had Long John Silver's in years. And so swung by on the way over here to John's house and got the taco trio thing they got, which is there's a shrimp taco, a grilled salmon taco, and then just like the deep fried fish. That's kind of like their staple, like so a little fish taco with big ass plank of deep fried fish. And man, it's so good. It's so good. It's like stupid how good it is.
I have yet to try them. I haven't been to Long John Silver's in.
Yeah, like it was, man, several years. And anytime we'd go, we'd just get like the chicken and fish stuff with like it's like the family pack. Get all kinds of hush puppies, fries, coleslaw.
Oh, God. So many memories.
Mm-hmm.
I love their chicken.
But time to
and their
make
fish.
new memories, John. Fish tacos. Those are your new memories.
That's just a weird combination to think about it being actually good. It's fish tacos.
Have you never had like fish tacos, just period in general?
Actually, no.
Man, you got a lot to learn.
And what was it? The thing that Burger King started trying to do. It's like
Just regular tacos, like Jack in the Box.
So they were doing tacos too.
Yeah, just beef tacos. They're disgusting.
Because it was a streamer I watched. Like he released a video, like him creating a video for YouTube, and like where he tried it and gave his feedback on it, and like apparently he hated it, and I think it made him sick to the stomach. So
I'll give you my review right now.
Go for it.
Trash.
Hard pass, huh?
They're not good. I tried. We don't have Jack in the Boxes around here, but my old job, I was making frequent trips to North Carolina, and I would swing by a Jack in the Box there. And then so I think my first time I stopped by there, I got a taco. Just to see, I never had Jack in the Box prior to that, so I got I tried like a chicken sandwich, I tried a burger, And then I was like, let me try a taco. That's kind of a weird thing for them to have, or whatever. I just tried like 3 or 4 different things, and taco was gross. It was not good. And then when Burger King came out with it, first thing I thought about was Jack in the Box, and that whole experience. But then there's the Burger King, literally like 4 minutes away from me, so I swung by to try one. They're 99 cents. I figured, hey, I've definitely wasted more money in my life, and they're not good. Not great. Terrible. Not even worth $1.
Wow. I mean, I've never actually had Jack in the Box, and we don't even have Denny's here, so we were supposed to get Denny's, but apparently that fell through.
That's another thing I stopped at in North Carolina was a Denny's.
I mean, you ain't gotta go to North Carolina for Denny's. I mean, there's one in Roanoke.
Yeah, but
And on the way to Roanoke, but yeah.
we need more food. I think that's the point of this. We need more food. We have so much food, especially down Wards Road, but we need more.
Well,
And downtown, but more.
I mean, we've got food, but I mean, in our town, it's just grown to be more primarily because of the college, like housing developments, like I guess primarily for
Dorm rooms.
people that live in the city, and primarily like more areas for the college students at liberty to stay at
Yeah.
off campus.
Well, we've got a ton of different complexes around here that you can only live in if you're a Liberty student, and they're like
Yeah.
crazy expensive.
Which I don't understand. I mean, Liberty alone is expensive, but I mean, how do you afford that if you're a college student? You're gonna make the living experience higher because you go to that college. When usually
That's a conversation we probably shouldn't get into.
when usually
The fact that education is big business. It's terrible. I hate this country. I love this country, but I hate this country.
love hate.
It's definitely a love hate. We're going to talk about that. That's not our thing. We're not going to get into that. I'm going to talk about
No politics.
political garbage, but we shouldn't be paying for medical expenses or for education. But that's it. We're not going to get into after that. It's fine. We're done. We're done with it. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
But I mean, have you heard back any from Joe about possibly
About Gerald? No, I haven't.
well, not that, but from him about like the whole Star Wars thing? Because when we messaged about it,
No, that's what was in the message. Is it in the group message? That's it.
like the group message,
He seemed like he really wanted to be a part of it. No, he didn't.
I mean, like he messaged about it. It's like, what is it? I think one of the messages was like he liked the idea of it and would be willing to like this.
And then he
great
immediately
idea.
followed it with like, "Well, I'm busy for the next 7 months,
Or like
3 weeks."
or
But
then
close.
one of the messages was like, "Well, you guys should talk about this on that episode, the Star Wars episode podcast.
Yeah.
This would be great for you guys to cover." It's like we threw the idea at you for the sake of you being on the show
Yeah,
for
Joe.
that topic, because all three of us being such big Star Wars fans, especially growing up as kids. I mean,
So if you're listening, Joe, shut up.
or if he manages to see the video of it at a later time on YouTube or whatnot, which I'll actually
Shut up in the future.
Future Joe. No, what is it?
I'm right now. I'm telling future Joe as he's watching this. Shut up.
No, that'd be more or less like past Joe.
No, it's future Joe.
No,
If he watches a recorded version of it, John, in the future, it's future Joe.
actually, you would be the future. Like,
No, I'm past. At that point, when Joe's watching it, I'm past Nate.
well, if you make a
And he's
recording
future Joe.
in advance for somebody to see it later on,
We'll talk to Dr. Strange about it. And we'll get it all figured out. We'll let him.
It's like, dear Joe, this is future Nathan to telling you shut up because we already know what your reaction is going to be.
It'd be past Nathan talking to future Joe.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It's the future from this point because he's watching it, say, 5 days from now.
the point being, like this, as the podcast goes on, we're live streaming it, but obviously, like, because I'm recording the podcast at the same time as we're streaming it.
This
Which-
little gnat is bugging the shit out of me.
Yeah.
He keeps like landing on my head, on my face. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Is
Which
that my mic?
it does it when I'm streaming too. No, it just flew past
Oh,
the mic.
I was about to bust his ass.
I mean, I've had gnats do that when I'm on stream, so therefore I'm doing exactly like you. I'm like, while I'm in the middle of something like intense going on, like, but like as we're streaming a podcast, I'm also like recording solely the podcast part of the stream, which is why like I have a scene set up specifically for the podcast, whereas future streams when we stream the podcast and we transition over to playing video games like we were gonna originally do today, which
We just talk too much.
which kind of fell through on this stream and podcast episode. But normally when we do it, if we were to do like that, we do the sign off for the podcast, I'd end the recording, and then we would switch over to scenes to continue on with the stream from there, playing video games. So that's why, like, anybody who's seen my streams on Twitch would know, like, the stuff I usually have up on there, like the event list and my banner that I have for who I'm affiliated by, team-wise, and all that stuff. And usually I have a green screen up, but so, like, I created an individual scene specifically for the podcast, which is why, like, there'd be, like, no notifications pop up unless you want me to set it up where when we stream it, the notifications, like, for follows and stuff pop up. Unless you
Alright,
just
that's up
want to
to you.
leave, unless you just want to leave it like this.
This is
where-
like your medium. Like that's up to you.
That's why I was just getting your input. So, future streams of the podcast, like if somebody were to follow or subscribe during the podcast, whether or not it would pop up or not. Because right now, I don't have that set up on this specific scene.
Well, I reckon. I mean, like, yeah, I'd be for like turning all that on. I guess
All right, I'll add it into the scene.
then we could see it and be like, hey. Thanks.
Because I've got it set for all my other scenes, like where somebody were to follow, host, raid, subscribe, stuff like that. It would pop up, like saying the notification, like it does in the little gifs that I have set up for it. So yeah. So are we still gonna try to hold out for Joe?
We're gonna hold
first?
out for Joe. As like breaking Star Wars news comes across, like the Ewan McGregor thing, we can talk about it. But
Yeah.
so when we get Joe, that's when we're gonna break down the movies. So
Would you want to go in order, like, well, not chronological order, but order of way they were released? Like 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and then
I'd rather
7,
go-
8, 9, or just go 1 through 9.
I'd rather go chronological,
Well,
right?
technically 9 being released this December, which I can't wait for. I'm excited for and see how many rumors come to be true with
We'll
it.
do it. We'll do it in order of like the timeline,
Yeah,
not
Starting
in order of the
with
release.
one.
So we'll start, Phantom Menace, and then
the whole baby Annie type
Yep.
thing, growing up to be adult Annie to Darth Vader to everyone else.
wait till I
from
start talking about my hatred of the kid they got to play Anakin.
there. Which was only from one movie.
I can go the entire podcast.
Which was that just one movie? Yeah,
Yeah, 2 had Hayden Christensen, and then 3 had Hayden Christensen.
because the end of the first one, he was still like a little kid, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, it's been so long since I've seen that one. That was like my least favorite.
It was. I think that's like the consensus. It's like everybody's least favorite. Also, like-
and I mean, it was technically like the first episode showing like the beginning of the whole Skywalker saga
Yeah.
thing, but I mean, it's just there's so much to talk about with Star Wars, and it is so much more to talk about outside of the movie, the Star Wars Skywalker storyline alone. Which I mean, now
Have you seen like? You ever gone to like Barnes and Noble, and seen like the book collection? So I mean, it's written by like several different authors and stuff or whatever, but it's all got like the Star Wars
Yeah.
thing behind it. But I mean, yeah, there's so many different like storylines and stuff.
Actually, my wife and I were in there today.
And I mean, like what
She
they
was
have
getting
is like
books.
scratching the surface of like what's actually been written. There's just a ton of like Star Wars material. But what happened?
No.
No.
Father. But I mean, like rumors being like episode 9 being somehow like Anakin being back in it or something of that nature, whether it be Force ghosts or whatnot, and rumors of them trying to get Hayden Christensen back for that role, and then obviously Palpatine being back, and there's so much more that the movies don't touch on that could take place in episode 9, and the fact that J.J. Abrams has, what is it, I think, taken back over
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
lead
he's doing this
director
one.
now.
Yep. So that's
For-
how we should.
He was only like a executive, I think, in episode 8. He wasn't like the actual producer or director or whatever. He was kind of like the helper in a sense.
We
He was
should
like a
aim.
second.
We should aim to have gone through the first 8 before.
Oh yeah.
What
I mean,
it's what Last Skywalker or
Rise of
Rise of
Skywalker.
Skywalker? Yeah, I was confusing it with Last Jedi.
Which that's why it's another rumor to be, because like with Luke Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker, and then rumors with Rey and whatnot, it's like what the whole reference to Rise of Skywalker means,
Mhm.
with it being like the ending to the Skywalker saga and like the send off to
Yeah.
the whole Skywalker saga, which the main movies had been about.
So that should be our goal. We should make that our goal. I think to try to cover 1 through 8 with Joe. We can maybe knock out 2 per episode or something like that. Make it a little bit easier. Get four episodes of Star Wars material.
Yeah.
4 podcast episodes of Star Wars material, and then riding in to the to number 9.
And there's that Nat.
There's that Nat.
But yeah, we just gotta definitely.
If we can't fit in 4 between now and December,
Oh, I mean, like the plane.
then that's just terrible.
The plane. The plan is to do an episode of our podcast every week, anyway,
Right.
regardless of like what the subject may be about, like the topic. But as far as the Star Wars aspect of it, I mean, we could still do it even if we can't get Joe to be a guest.
Yeah. Well, I reckon like push come to
Host.
shove, if we kind of like really wanting to do it and we just can't kind of coordinate schedules, then we'll just go ahead and do it. But
Cause I mean, I don't really know how gun ho he is about like being as a reoccurring guest, which he would be like a guest host for the podcast anyway. So if he'd be up for it, I mean, like kind of like the thing that he does part time for the episodes, he wouldn't be like every single one of them. But that's if he's down for it. But if we can't get him to be a part of it, we'll just have to. I guess.
Yeah, we'll just dive into it.
We'll dive into the whole Star Wars.
Also, with we need to bring some music into this at some point.
Oh yeah.
Like when I went, because like a lot, I tweeted about it and I put it on Facebook. I did my power rankings for the 7 studio albums from Linkin Park, and I'd like to talk about that on the podcast.
You mean like talk about music?
Yeah.
I thought you meant like adding music, like, which I would love to eventually, like, getting to editing, like, to put like an intro song or something beforehand, and it goes into the podcast or whatnot.
Talk about music.
Oh yeah, it's like I've always been
I've
open
spent
to
like
that.
the last Oh gosh,
There's
It-
that mic kick again.
it might have about like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I just kind of got on a Linkin Park kick, and I was listening to just like the classics or whatever. The classics. That sounds weird to say with Linkin Park. It doesn't seem like the kind of music where you'd say classics, but
Yeah.
just the stuff that everybody knows. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like dive into the albums.
At first, I'm gonna veer into that subject for a minute. I was hesitant on Linkin Park as a new band back in the day when Hybrid Theory came out, because then their second album was pretty much like nothing but remixes of their first album. So I was just like, and then I was like, they released, what was it, a live album or something after that? Trying to remember the order of their albums.
As far as like the remix albums and live albums and stuff go, I don't know where they fall in.
But it's like, it was the first album, Hybrid Theory, and then the second one was like, what was it? It had a green cover with a robot on it. It was like nothing but remixes of everything from the first
Reanimated
album.
or something.
And then I want to say like the third album was starting to go that route too, with a little bit of new stuff mixed in. So I'm just like, please tell me they're not going to be just one of these bands that just, they make the first album all like original new music, and then they're just going to keep remixing and remaking their songs on new albums. So it's like, that's what I was weary about when they first came out as a band. Because like their second, and I think part of their third album was like that. I'm just like, I don't know about how I feel about that as a band. It's usually bands like, you release that album and then their next album has like all new songs. It's not like a whole remix album like theirs was.
Well, that's why like when I say 7 studio albums, like that's how I classify it. Like the new original stuff, that's a studio album. Like I didn't.
So you don't consider the remixes?
I didn't go into like Collision Course with Jay-Z, which is like one of my favorite albums, like of all time.
I think that was after Reanimation.
It might have been.
I think.
But yeah, so like I didn't go into like any of those.
Yeah, God, this is going like this.
And like the live in Texas was like their most popular live one. But
I mean, that was a good concert. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
no, I just went with strictly the studio albums.
My God, that's going like Fast and the Furious. How Tokyo Drift was out of the chronological timeline of the movie franchise when it was released and made, versus where it lands in the timeline. It's like that. What you're going with Linkin Park was like how that went.
They've got before One More Light was released.
Yeah.
So it's got all the way up to I think the Hunting Party was the one that came out before.
I mean that album.
The Hunting Party? I think I had that as my number 7.
I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but it had
not that it was bad. I just had it as my least favorite.
Linkin Park, The Hunting Party. It had, what is it? Was it that one?
What's the song? Tell me the song.
It was.
Tell me.
Actually, it was on the album before. It was on the album before that, I think. Actually, it was on Living Things, Roads Untraveled. It was in the Need for Speed movie. Freaking loved that song. It's like one of my favorite songs. One of them. I have many favorites of theirs, but it's like one of my top favorites. Along with like Little Things Give You Away, especially just like the harmonies that are in that song.
I had Living Things as my number 3.
And oh my God, just I wasn't that I was not that into One More Light. I mean, it was a decent album, but just the song One More Light.
Mm-hmm.
And then after he passed away, just
One More Light was
it hits you hard.
Number 5. That was my number 5. And then so my list went Meteora as number 1.
Oh yeah.
Actually, bump that. You already know number 1. I ruined it, but I'm gonna go worst to first. So I had no, I'll go first. Screw it. So I had Meteor at number 1.
Love Meteor.
Hybrid Theory at number 2. Yep. Living Things at 3. Minutes to Midnight at 4. One More Light as 5. Thousand Suns was 6, and then the Hunting Party was 7. 6 and 7 might be switched actually. That was 6 and 7 was kind of tough for me to decide which one I wanted to slot at number 7.
What was the that's what it was. A Hunting Party had the song.
I had Hunting Party at 7.
A Hunting Party had the song Line in the Sand, which I love that song because it was like one of those. It was one of their harder songs too.
Oh, Joe texted me back.
But how would you interpret that text? Everyone, how he says.
He said Gerald like the human name Gerald, or Geralt like the Witcher.
There it is.
Then he said hard G, air, alt.
Geralt. Geralt of Riviera.
I just said thanks, buddy.
Geralt.
Yep.
Gotta throw that accent into it. Well, yeah.
But all right, I gotta run. I gotta go pick up my daughters. John, it's been fun hanging out with you.
Oh yeah.
I always have a good
Always.
time. I might get some more tacos when I leave. I'm not gonna lie.
You're addicted to those fish tacos now, aren't you?
They're good. I think the shrimp one was my favorite. And I've never been a big salmon fan, but salmon taco wasn't bad. It was good. It was good. But I think my okay, all right. So this is my definitive power rankings of I'm power rank everything. My power rankings of Long John Silver's tacos. 1, the shrimp taco. 2, the fish taco. 3, the grilled salmon taco. And that's it. It's only 3 of them that I know of. I don't think they do a chicken. They should do a hush puppy taco.
Hush puppy taco.
I'm gonna pitch it to him.
Oh, there you go.
All right. So yeah.
We did get kind of sidetracked from the primary topic of what it was supposed to be. Actually, we talked more about fantasy football and football this time than the main topic of what it was supposed to be.
Mike wants to come on if we decide to do a sports one. He wants to come on and
On the
talk sports
podcast?
with us. Yeah.
He's gonna be sober.
I would hope so.
Because I would need to be able to post the episode on Twitch and YouTube, obviously.
I'll make sure that happens.
Especially if we live stream
Be
the
like, hey,
episode.
we're doing the podcast today, and then he's like drunk, and I'm gonna be like, well, you're not.
And like it wasn't that stream that time. I mean, it would be kind of bad. But yeah, like even if we live stream it, it's like I'll still be recording the episode like I am now to upload it to YouTube, and then I'll upload just the podcast part of the stream to Twitch as well, like I did the first episode, for people to be able to watch the podcast. Which, I mean, technically this time the stream ended up from starting with the podcast to moving to video games to being just a podcast. So, but I will still, after I end the recording, do the send off on the stream as well, and then do the stream ending aspect of it too, since we are live streaming it as well as recording it live. Whereas last week we just recorded it and uploaded it. So this time, after trying to tweak my audio, I did a bunch of recordings to see how much louder it was, which everything I listened to it on, it was louder this time. So hopefully audio won't be low this time on it, and just
Fingers crossed.
The meter on for the mic too was a lot better than what it was doing last week on the podcast. So hopefully now the mics and stuff shouldn't be an issue. So I was trying to go back and redo everything for like the podcast and for my streams too, just because the last few the last few streams I did, and I was glancing back over my VODs, and just the audio was real low. And I had to turn it up a whole lot. Then like I would be watching a lot of like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye videos and other content creators, and like that would be like I could go from our podcast and my streams, it'd be so low and I have to crank it up so loud and go to theirs. It's like, oh god, and it'd blow you away. Even on the TV, it would like blow your speakers out if you went to one of theirs. I'm like, no, something's gotta change. I'm not happy with this because I'm incredibly anal when it comes to like visual and audio aspect of stuff. I've always been that way.
Anal.
I've always been that way with stuff, especially with being content creator and stuff, wanting to put out the best quality stuff. But and just looking at it as if I'm watching somebody's podcast or listening to it and watching their streams or their videos is like, would I want my stuff and our stuff to sound like crap and look like crap, or would I want it to be like their higher quality aspect where you're pleased with it? Because I mean, obviously, the better quality it is, the better traction it'll get, and more people will actually stick around and watch it and listen to it. Versus it sounding like crap, because I've went into some streams and stuff where people didn't have audio correct, and it's like you just couldn't stick around for so long before you're just like, alright, I can't take it. It's like you don't want to be. Some people would just be like, I don't care, and they'll be an asshole towards them about it, and just tell them, hey, you sound like crap. But then there's some people like me. I'm just like, I just want to message them privately. Hey, you might want to not being mean, work on your audio a little bit. It's kind of rough to kind of give them a heads up, because some people don't watch their own stuff to see the quality that they're putting out.
I'm with you though. Like I'd rather just have like the best quality stuff. If you're gonna do something, do it right.
Yeah.
Seems weird to me that people wouldn't go back and listen. But
yeah. I mean, just some people to start doing that stuff don't realize the behind the scenes stuff that actually go into it before you physically start putting the content out. Some people just kind of throw stuff together and then run with it. That's why, like, I was doing recordings when I was making adjustments and going back and watching those. Which is why I also didn't stream on Wednesday because of it. Because I ran out of time because it took so long. Because I didn't just want to like make adjustments and then hit go live and just wing it like that and hope it sounded good.
I don't know what that's supposed to be. But yeah. Alright.
But for anyone who watches the podcast later on, if you're watching it on YouTube as well, if you want to follow us on social media, or like me on Twitch, the live stream, the links will be down in the description where you guys can click on it and go follow us there. And I'm trying to be more active on Twitter when I'm not streaming and when I'm not working, because I know right now you've been more active than I have been able to be. So I'm trying to be
Nothing
more.
will stop me from being active on Twitter. I have fallen in love with Twitter the last like 2 or 3 years or whatever.
But I'm definitely down to do like sports episode though for the podcast. I'm down to do like any subject, really. So I
We
mean,
can do it.
we can
I'm kind of
definitely-
interested to have Mike on the podcast and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Just throw him out there, see what happens. I think Mike can come up with some good content because it's Mike.
Yeah. But like I said, after I streamed that what was it, Saturday, I think it was. That Saturday when I streamed when we played the Division 2 and he was already like drunk. And like you told him multiple times you were gonna be live on Twitch where people can actually hear you.
Yeah.
Woo. Like I said, I clipped one of the better parts of a glitch which we found many that stream. And I clipped that and deleted the VOD because I was not fond of some of the stuff that was being said in that stream, which will not happen again. We will definitely take better precautions. Or those people will not be a part of it again when we decide to do that. Or if we do game together like that, it would be off stream.
Yeah.
So that way it's like, alright, you're not live on anything, no platform. So you can say whatever you want. But, yeah. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Follow me on Twitter. Infamous Wannabe. That is the letter N, the word famous, the word one,
She want to be famous.
UHB. Infamous Wannabe. On Twitter. And also on Instagram. If you want to see pictures of my daughters, that's pretty much what my Instagram is for. Yep.
The babies.
I don't stream or anything.
You're part of the streams, though. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
like, technically
yeah,
you
I'll-
are now, too.
I'll come on and play some games, or I'll be playing online from my house, playing with John.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes the group live streams that we do, which sometimes if we can't get Joe to be a part of it, it'll be just Nathan and I doing the group stream.
We need to get a good old solid team stream
Oh, yeah.
going. Need to try to do one of those.
Oh, yeah. Which,
Did you get it?
no.
Oh
It's close. He was on my freaking knuckle. I thought I felt something tickling my knuckle.
Don't
Yeah.
tickle your knuckle.
But yeah, we definitely need to again. It's been a while since we did that.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been months and months.
Basically, go to my YouTube channel and you'll see the last time we did, because I uploaded it like the next day, I think. But I think I put like when it was recorded. But yeah, I don't know why. Like, I put it in that folder and whatnot, and was trying to create the folder for it, but for some reason Twitch let it expire still, instead of keeping it in that folder by itself as separate videos for people to go back and watch. Which is why there's a folder there on my Twitch channel with nothing in it for that group live stream stuff. It is on my mic, but I do not want to smack at my mic. But for me, you can follow me on Twitter. All my stuff is basically the same. It is MusicianGamer76. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitch. I have an Instagram, but I don't really use it. It does have the same username as well for MusicianGamer76. But I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and sometimes on the weekends. And now we will be also every now and again streaming the podcast as well. But we appreciate all you checking out the podcast, hanging out this evening during the stream for the podcast. And if you're watching this on Twitch, feel free to hit that follow button on the Twitch channel, that you guys can see more content coming out for the podcast. And if you want to hang out during streams when I stream, and if you're watching it on YouTube, I don't know why my mind is kind of zoning up. If you're watching it on YouTube and you want to check out more content there that I release, and more of the podcast as well on the episodes that we release on there, make sure you hit that subscribe button, enable notification, and hit that bell icon so you'll know when we release new episodes of the podcast.
Do it.
But
Do it.
as far as the next episode of the podcast, you said what, next Sunday?
Hit that shit. Yeah.
Are you wanting to live stream it or just record it and upload it?
I mean, this is fine. I'm good with this.
So you
We,
want to
we can
live
keep
stream
we
it
can keep
again?
live streaming it. Yeah.
So like I said, I record it while the stream's going on, just the
I think-
podcast portion of it, so I can go back and
I think
upload
when
the
it's-
podcast.
If we were to do something like with Mike, we should probably record that one, just in case.
Probably that one probably won't
Just in
be
case.
live streamed, but it'll be
Yeah.
uploaded after.
Stuff with Joe, I think we could probably stream it on Twitch.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Because I mean, he
Yeah.
is part of the whole group live stream part of it. And that
Yeah.
dog is going crazy on the other side. Good God. But again, thank you all for hanging out, and we will see
Yeah,
you all
appreciate
next week for the next episode of the Try Hard Entertainment Podcast.
Oh, and like, excuse me, and like comments or whatever. Kind of let us know if there's something that you want us to cover
Oh, yeah.
or whatever.
Topics you want to hear about.
We're into like nerdy shit.
Oh yeah,
Star
anything
Wars,
and everything.
Lord of the Rings.
Marvel, DC,
Yeah, Marvel comic stuff, video games.
movies, music.
John likes sports, but I love sports. So
I
you
am
know.
just now, as we were talking about earlier in the podcast, getting into fantasy football. So it'll be my
Mhm.
first live draft later this week that I'm a part of.
Music. John is a musician. I listen to music. That's about my experience on it. But yeah, so just like whatever, just stuff like that.
You've dabbled in drums too.
Right. Yeah, we'll call it dabble. I dabbled in drums. I like half-ass learned 2 songs, not even fully.
But it is a start.
Well, it's finished now. I can't say consistent with things. I'm just all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's a freaking bug, man. All right, but yeah, thanks for checking us out. Hope you enjoyed it. And like we said last week, if you didn't see episode 1, give us like tips and pointers and stuff. You know, like help us out. We're trying to get better at this and like improve
as far as
on our
audio,
abilities.
video, that you guys, any
If you think that maybe we're
feedback?
a little too attention deficit, just let us know. You know, we'll try to make the experience better for the viewers.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
If you want to see John naked,
Well, that's TOS that'd be broken on that. That can't be uploaded or streamed then.
worth a shot.
But yeah, and also if you guys missed the first episode, you can check it out on the YouTube channel and on the Twitch channel, Musician Gamer 76. And if you go on the Twitch channel and go to the panels, you can click on the YouTube icon and it'll take you directly to the Musician Gamer 76 YouTube channel, and y'all can check it out there as well, which I uploaded to not only Twitch but also to YouTube as well. So you guys definitely check out the podcast videos on both of those. And hey Biscuit, how's it going? And we
Wow, Biscuit. Could say hi to me.
he's joking. But and I link all of our social media and Twitch and whatnot links. Can't remember if Twitch allowed me. I think the description on Twitch allowed me to do it too on the uploads, and it also obviously is in the description on the YouTube videos. Now he said hi.
Hi.
But for everybody watching the podcast, we hope you guys have a great evening, great rest of your week, and we will see you all back here on next Sunday. What is that? The 25th or 5th? Yeah, 25th for the next episode of the podcast. Till then, we'll see you guys next time. Did not mean to block your face, Nathan.
That's fine. It's not what they came for anyway.
I'm used to the camera being there, not here. I'm still readjusting. But anyway, guys, until next week, hope you guys have a great one. See you next week. Bye.